Alright, so I'm going to show you how to turn a 2D object into a 3D object for 3D print. So to begin with, know that you have to have some, for this example I'm going to be making a keychain, so you would have to have some means to hang it on a keychain. Okay, so I got this vector, and I got this vector, and I'm just taking this vector right here, putting it over the top, and I'm going to take and clone this little circle using Option, click and drag. So you can combine these two shapes over here in Pathfinder. So I'm going to use the Unite, and then I'm going to take this one, make it a little bit smaller, put it in the center. If you can't see what the center is, you go to Outline, and now you can see it. So just kind of generally put it in the center of that, and then make a selection and hit the other one, which is minus. Now I have a complete shape with a hole in it, just like that. Okay, so now I have that. Let's go back to View, Preview, and let's go to File, Save As, and what I want to do is save this as a SVG, Scalable Vector Graphic. I'm going to call it Flower Thing. It's going to be SVG, and it's going to be SVG 1.0. All the rest of this stuff you can leave alone. Alright, so in Blender, you're going to open Blender, and you should have already had your navigation lesson. So if I click on this object, you can hit X and it'll delete it. And then I can go File, Import, SVG. So it is right here, Scalable Vector Graphics. Go onto the desktop. It's called Flower Thing. Import it. Alright, so it's going to be really small. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to go to the scale, and I'm going to grab the white circle and scale it up. Alright, so if you click on this little arrow, it'll bring up how big this thing is, and right now it's too small. So we want at least 50 meters for this to work out. Also, you notice that the scale is in the middle of the scene and not the middle of the thing. So we can fix that by going into Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. So now when I scale it with the white circle, I can scale it from the center. And there we go. So around 50 in any of the axes. Okay, so I have one. If I hit Shift D as in duplicate, I can make another. Drag it over here. So I want one to be my base. I'm going to make a 2-layer object here, and we're going to unite it. So on this one, hit Tab on the keyboard, and you'll go into this, which is the allowing of me to highlight vertices. It's really hard to see, right? So let's fix that. Hit Tab one more time, and let's go into the material editor, which is now a different icon. There it is. Material properties. It's a little red dot. Alright, so hit the minus. Click on this one, hit the minus. And that's so much better to see. Now when I click on it, I can hit Tab and you can see the vertices. Alright, for this one I want to delete all of these little vertices on the inside. So L will highlight the entire string of vertices, and delete vertices. And repeat that. L, delete vertices. L, and you can highlight a bunch of them just by hitting L. Do not delete this one. Okay, do not delete the one with the hole. Delete vertices. There we go. So this is the shape, and this one's going to be on top of that one. All right, hopefully you're still with me. You're like moving too fast. Okay, so tab again allows you to get back into the object mode, which you can see where I'm at if you ever get lost up here. See where it says edit mode. If you don't know what mode I'm in, just look at this little edit mode versus object mode. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to convert in object mode this to a mesh. And then we're going to do the same with this one. We're going to go highlight it, object, convert to mesh. So what that did is now if you hit tab again, it's going to be made out of polygons. All right, now we're going to make some thickness for this. So what we have to do is highlight face mode. So here's faces. We're going to mouse over it and hit L. We're going to go to this thing called Extrude. We're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to grab this yellow dot and pull it up. Now it has some thickness. All right, let's repeat that. Again, tab, highlight your shape, tab to get into faces, make sure your faces is on, L. This time I'm already in the extrude tool, so I'm going to just drag that up. Make it about equal. All right, to get out of this tool, you go to the move tool. Now we're going to put this one on top of this one. Okay, quite easy to do in a different view. So hit Z. We're in an orthographic mode right now. And what we want to do is make sure that we're right over the top of it. So let's see. I want to be able to navigate just a little bit more and then hit Z. There we go. So just make sure that you can see both of these. You might have to navigate like I just did a couple times. Go to the move tool and move this one on top of this one. If we can't see what directly on top is, we go to this view, which is viewport shading, and then we can zoom in, and you can see that I can line these two objects up pretty closely. All right, there we go. One's on top of the other. And now I can switch back to this. I can also go into shading mode again. And what I want to do is take this object and bring it down. And I want to bring it down in such a way where they're still touching each other. See how they're still touching. Pretty sweet, right? And now what I want to do is combine these together using a Boolean. Very easy to do. Grab the bottom one, go to the wrench, go add, Boolean, Union, and then choose the other object. It should be the only curve in here. And then using this little drop down, hit apply. So now what you just did is you have this object that is completely made of those two shapes. You can get rid of this one by clicking on it and deleting it by using the X. And this is what you are going to be printing. Okay. So in order to get it out of the program, you go File, Export, Still. I'm going to choose Desktop, and I'm going to call it Flower Thing again. Keep everything else the same. So that's how you export it out. And there's going to be a separate video on how to prep it for the 3D printer, because we got a couple 3D printers. Each one's kind of different, so I'm going to be showing you how to prep it in the other piece of software. So that is how you make a 2D object into a 3D object for 3D print. Enjoy.